Let me ask you something, and don't answer out loud. Answer it honestly in your mind. If someone followed you around every single day for the next year, watch how you wake up, how you talk to yourself, how you eat, how you train, how you react when things don't go your way, would they say, this person is becoming dangerous? Or would they say, this person is slowly disappearing? Because here's the uncomfortable truth most people don't want to face. You're not stuck. You're not unlucky. You're not behind. You're just repeating the same day over and over and calling it a life. And repetition doesn't care about your excuses. It only multiplies what you do daily. If you repeat weakness, comfort, and procrastination, it will compound into regret. But if you repeat discipline, focus, and pressure, just a little more each day, it will compound into power. 2026 isn't waiting to save you. Nobody is coming. There's no perfect moment, no sudden motivation, no magical breakthrough that turns average into unstoppable. Improvement doesn't come like lightning. It comes like sweat. Quiet, uncelebrated, painful. 1% at a time. Most people think 1% is too small to matter. That's why they stay small. They chase motivation instead of mastery. They wait until they feel ready instead of forcing themselves to become ready. They want comfort first and success later, not realizing success demands discomfort up front. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your habits. Every single time. Here's what separates the few from the many. The few understand that greatness is built in moments no one is watching. Early mornings when your body feels heavy. Late nights when your mind is tired. Days when quitting feels reasonable. That's where the real work lives. That's where identity is forged. Not in motivation, not in applause, but in silence and resistance. Think about this: if you improve just 1% every day, not when you feel good, not when conditions are perfect, but every day no matter what, you won't recognize yourself by the end of 2026. Your discipline will scare people. Your confidence will feel uncomfortable to those still negotiating with their excuses. And your presence will be heavier, sharper, more controlled because you earned it. This isn't about becoming loud. This isn't about becoming famous. This is about becoming solid, unshakable. Someone who doesn't beg life for opportunities but prepares so hard that opportunities have no choice but to notice. So the real question isn't whether 2026 can change your life. The real question is whether you're finally ready to stop lying to yourself and start applying pressure. One brutal, honest, disciplined percent at a time. Most people don't fail because they're weak. They fail because they underestimate the quiet power of discipline. They think change needs to be dramatic, emotional, explosive. They wait for a moment that feels big enough to transform them. But real transformation doesn't announce itself. It shows up every day, uninvited, demanding effort when you don't feel like giving it. That's where 1% daily discipline lives, in the small, uncomfortable actions that don't impress anyone but slowly build something unbreakable inside you. 1% doesn't look like much in a single day. It doesn't feel heroic. It doesn't make you feel special. In fact, it often feels boring. And that's exactly why most people never do it. They want excitement. They want motivation. They want results before the work. But discipline doesn't care about your mood. Discipline is a contract you sign with yourself, promising that no matter how you feel, you will show up. 1% is waking up when your body begs for more sleep. 1% is training when you're tired, studying when you're distracted, and staying silent when your ego wants to react. These moments don't feel powerful, but they are stacking something dangerous beneath the surface. Daily discipline rewires your identity. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, even a small one, your mind takes note. It starts to trust you. Confidence isn't something you think into existence. It's something you earn through repetition. When you improve 1% daily, you are telling yourself, I do what I say I will do. Over time, that belief hardens. You stop negotiating with your weaknesses. You stop looking for shortcuts. You stop waiting for permission. Discipline turns intention into character. People love to talk about talent, luck, and timing, but none of those matter without consistency. The world is full of talented people who quit. It's full of smart people who never applied themselves long enough to see results. Discipline is the great equalizer. It doesn't care where you started. It only responds to what you do repeatedly. 1% today, 1% tomorrow, 1% when no one is watching. That's how ordinary people quietly surpass everyone who relies on bursts of motivation. What makes 1% daily discipline so powerful is compounding. Most people understand compounding when it comes to money, but they ignore it when it comes to habits. Small actions repeated daily don't just add up, they multiply. Skipping one workout doesn't destroy you. Eating clean one day doesn't transform you. But doing either consistently changes everything. Discipline builds momentum, and momentum builds belief. Before you realize it, what once felt impossible becomes normal. What once required effort becomes automatic. That's when growth accelerates. There will be days when 1% feels like 100%. Days when your body hurts, your mind is heavy, and life feels unfair. Discipline doesn't remove those days, it prepares you for them. It teaches you to move forward without drama, to act without emotion, to stay calm under pressure. That strength most people never develop because they quit the moment things stop feeling good. But growth was never supposed to feel good. Growth feels like resistance, like friction, like doing the right thing while every part of you wants to stop. Daily discipline also exposes the lies you tell yourself, the excuses, the delays, the stories about why today doesn't count. When you commit to 1% every day, there's nowhere to hide. You either did the work or you didn't. That honesty is uncomfortable, but it's necessary. You can't build a strong life on self-deception. Discipline strips you down and forces you to face yourself as you are, not as you pretend to be. By the end of the year, the person who practiced 1% daily discipline will look nothing like the person who waited for motivation. Their posture will be different. Their voice will be steadier. Their decisions will be sharper. Not because they had some massive breakthrough, but because they respected the process. They understood that greatness isn't built in a day. It's built daily, quietly, relentlessly, 1% at a time. Every morning before the world gets its hands on you, a war already starts inside your head. No one sees it. No one applauds it. But this battle decides everything that follows. The quality of your day, your discipline, your confidence, even your future. Those are all shaped in the first moments when you open your eyes and your mind starts talking. Most people lose before they even get out of bed because they let that voice run wild. The voice that says sleep more, delay, scroll, wait, start tomorrow. Winning doesn't begin with action. It begins with control. Your mind is not your friend by default. It is designed for comfort, not greatness. It wants safety, ease, familiarity. Every morning it will negotiate with you. It will remind you of yesterday's failures, today's stress, and tomorrow's uncertainty. If you listen to it without challenge, it will shrink you. That's why the first victory of the day is refusing to let your thoughts dominate you. You don't wake up asking how you feel. You wake up deciding who you are. The strongest people don't wake up motivated. They wake up committed. They understand that mornings are about setting authority. The moment you hesitate, the mind senses weakness and takes control. 1 extra minute in bed becomes 10. 10 becomes guilt. Guilt becomes avoidance. And suddenly the day is already compromised. But when you act immediately, when you move before thinking, you break the spell. Action silences doubt. Movement kills hesitation. Winning the mental war every morning means creating pressure early. Do something uncomfortable on purpose. Cold water on your face. A walk before sunrise. Training when your body feels stiff and heavy. These acts aren't about physical benefit alone. They're psychological dominance. You're telling your mind, I lead, you follow. That message echoes throughout the day. When challenges show up later, you've already proven to yourself that resistance doesn't control you. Self-talk is another battlefield most people surrender without a fight. They replay old losses, embarrassments, and fears like broken recordings. That voice is ruthless, but it's not always truthful. Winning means interrupting it, replacing weakness with command. Not fake positivity, but sharp, direct reminders of who you are becoming. You don't need to feel confident, you need to act in alignment with discipline. Confidence comes after. Mornings are also when fear tries to be loudest. Fear of failing. Fear of being judged. Fear of not being enough. That fear doesn't disappear when you avoid it, it grows. Facing it early shrinks it. When you do the hardest thing first, everything else feels lighter. Fear respects action. It only bullies hesitation. Mental toughness isn't built in dramatic moments. It's built in routine, in repetition, in showing up when it would be easier not to. Every morning you win the war in your mind, you add another layer of armor. Over time, doubt starts to lose its voice. Discipline becomes automatic. You stop arguing with yourself because you've already settled the question. You do the work, no matter what. There will be mornings when your mind feels heavy, when life has hit you hard, when motivation is nowhere to be found. Those mornings matter the most. Anyone can feel strong on good days. Strength is revealed when everything inside you resists and you still move forward. That's when identity is forged, not in comfort, but in resistance. Winning the war in your mind every morning doesn't mean the thoughts disappear. It means they no longer control your actions. You acknowledge them, then you act anyway. That's power. That's freedom. And when you do that day after day, you stop being someone who reacts to life. You become someone who dictates the pace. The world doesn't wake you up anymore. You wake up ready to confront it. Pain is something everyone experiences, but only a few people learn how to use it. Most people run from it, numb it, distract themselves from it, or pretend it doesn't exist. They treat pain like a curse. But pain is not your enemy. It's information. It's pressure. It's a message telling you where you are weak, where you are exposed, and where you still need to grow. The people who become powerful are not the ones who avoid pain, but the ones who study it, absorb it, and turn it into fuel. Failure hits the ego harder than the body. It strips away the image you have of yourself. It makes you feel small, embarrassed, exposed. That's why most people avoid trying hard. They'd rather live with excuses than face the possibility of failing honestly. But failure is not a verdict on who you are. It's feedback on what you did. When you separate your identity from the outcome, failure becomes a teacher instead of a wound. Every loss carries instructions. Every mistake reveals a weakness that can be strengthened. Humiliation is pain with witnesses. It's when you fall in front of others. When your confidence gets cracked publicly. When your pride takes a hit you can't hide. Most people never recover from that because they internalize it. They let one moment define their entire future. They shrink. They play safe. They lower their standards so they never have to feel that sting again. That's how potential dies quietly. But humiliation, when used correctly, becomes fire. It forces you to confront reality without excuses. It shows you exactly where you stand. The difference between people who rise and people who disappear is what they do after the pain hits. One group sits in it, talks about it, complains about how unfair life is. The other group gets silent. They train, they study, they sharpen. They let the pain harden them instead of breaking them. Pain demands a response. Either you let it weaken you or you let it build you. Using pain as fuel means refusing to waste it. It means every time you feel that burn in your chest, that frustration in your gut, that anger at yourself or the world, you channel it into action. You don't post about it. You don't seek sympathy. You don't dramatize it. You put it into your work, into your discipline, into your preparation. Pain becomes the reason you train harder when no one is watching. Failure also teaches humility. It reminds you that you're not special just because you want something. Desire doesn't guarantee results. Effort does. Failure strips away arrogance and replaces it with respect for the process. It forces you to slow down, correct your mistakes, and rebuild stronger foundations. People who never fail often collapse later because they never learn how to adjust under pressure. There is a certain calm that comes when you stop fearing pain. When you accept that discomfort is part of growth, you stop flinching. You stop hesitating. You become willing to walk into situations that test you. That willingness alone separates you from most people. Pain becomes familiar territory. Not enjoyable, but manageable. And when others panic under pressure, you stay composed because you've been here before. The strongest fuel is unresolved pain, the moments you still remember late at night. The losses you wish you could redo. The disrespect you swallowed. Those memories don't have to haunt you. They can drive you. Every time you feel like quitting, you go back to those moments. Not to feel sorry for yourself, but to remind yourself why staying average is not an option. When pain, failure, and humiliation stop scaring you, you become dangerous. You stop protecting your ego and start building your capacity. You stop avoiding hard paths and start choosing them. And eventually, the same experiences that once made you feel weak become the foundation of your strength. Not because they were easy, but because you refuse to let them be wasted. Most people live their lives chasing goals, and that's exactly why they stay frustrated. Goals are distant. They live in the future. They give you something to dream about, but not something to lean on when motivation disappears. A goal can inspire you, but it can't carry you through the days when you're tired, distracted, or overwhelmed. Systems do that. Systems are what you fall back on when your emotions are unstable. If you want real change, you stop obsessing over outcomes and start building a daily structure that makes progress unavoidable. A relentless daily system is not about intensity. It's about inevitability. It's a set of actions so simple, so repeatable, that even on your worst days you can still execute them. People quit because they rely on willpower. Willpower fades. Systems don't. When your day is designed in advance, there's no debate. You wake up, you move, you work, you recover. No drama, no negotiation. The mistake people make is trying to overhaul their entire life overnight. They create complicated plans that collapse under pressure. A real system respects human weakness while still demanding discipline. It starts with non-negotiables. Things you do whether you feel good or not. Training your body, sharpening your mind, improving your skill, and protecting your environment. These are not optional. They are the foundation. Your body is the engine. If it's weak, everything else suffers. A daily system includes movement every single day. Not when you're motivated. Not when it's convenient. Every day. Some days it's intense. Some days it's basic. But the chain never breaks. Consistency builds resilience. Skipping workouts doesn't just weaken your body, it weakens your identity. Systems protect you from that erosion. Your mind also needs daily conditioning. Reading, studying, reflecting, or practicing silence. Input shapes output. If you start your day consuming chaos, your thoughts will be chaotic. A system controls what enters your mind before the world gets access to you. Even a few minutes of focused mental work daily compounds into clarity and confidence over time. Skills don't grow from ambition, they grow from repetition. A relentless system includes daily practice of the craft that moves your life forward. Not hours, consistency. Even small, focused effort every day outperforms sporadic intensity. This is where most people fail. They wait for large blocks of time instead of using the time they have. Systems eliminate waiting. Your environment either supports your discipline or sabotages it. A daily system removes friction from good habits and adds friction to bad ones. You don't rely on self-control, you rely on design. Clothes laid out the night before. Distractions removed. Tools prepared. The easier you make the right action, the more likely you are to do it under pressure. Relentless doesn't mean perfect. You will have off days. You will be tired. You will fall short. A strong system accounts for that. It focuses on recovery as much as effort. Sleep, nutrition, and moments of stillness are part of the system, not rewards for success. Burnout comes from chaos, not discipline. What makes systems powerful is that they change who you are without you noticing. You don't wake up one day transformed. You wake up one day consistent.
Calm.
Capable, reliable. Your confidence doesn't come from big wins. It comes from knowing you will do the work today, just like you did yesterday. Goals give you direction, but systems give you control. And control is what creates freedom. When your days are structured, your emotions stop running your life. You don't chase results, you attract them through repetition. Over time, the results take care of themselves. And when people ask how you change, you won't have a dramatic answer. You'll just say you showed up every day and refused to break the system. Consistency is what turns ordinary effort into something threatening. Not loud, not flashy. Threatening. Because when you are consistent, you become predictable to yourself and unpredictable to everyone else. People can handle talent. They can dismiss motivation. But they don't know how to deal with someone who shows up every day with the same discipline, the same pressure, the same refusal to quit. That's how you become dangerous in 2026. Not by doing something extreme once, but by doing something demanding repeatedly. Most people live in cycles. They start strong, fade out, restart, and repeat. They rely on emotional highs and burnout when life hits them. Consistency breaks that cycle. It stabilizes you. It makes your effort boring, and boredom is a weapon. When you can do the right thing without excitement, without recognition, without encouragement, you gain an edge most people never develop. You stop needing validation. You stop waiting for the perfect mood. You become self-sustaining. Being dangerous doesn't mean being aggressive. It means being dependable under pressure. When things go wrong, when stress shows up, when others hesitate, you move. That ability is built through consistency. Every day you follow through, you strengthen trust in yourself. That trust becomes calm. Calm becomes confidence. And confidence without arrogance is intimidating. In 2026, the world will still be chaotic. Distractions will be louder. Shortcuts will be marketed harder. Most people will still look for quick wins and easy paths. Consistency puts you on a different frequency. While others chase trends, you refine fundamentals. While others quit when results are slow, you stay steady. That patience compounds into skill, strength, and control. Consistency also hardens your standards. You stop tolerating excuses from yourself or others. You know what effort feels like. You know what commitment costs. That clarity sharpens your decisions. You say no more often. You protect your time. You move with purpose. That alone changes how people treat you. There will be days in 2026 when nothing seems to be working. Progress feels invisible. Effort feels unrewarded. Those days are not failures, they are filters. They remove people who were never serious. Consistency keeps you moving through those days without drama. You don't overthink. You don't spiral. You execute and move on. That emotional control is rare. Over time, consistency reshapes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries. You become someone who does. Your actions align with your standards. Your words carry weight because they're backed by behavior. You don't need to announce your goals. Your routine speaks for you. Being dangerous also means being hard to manipulate. When you're consistent, external opinions lose power over you. Praise doesn't inflate you. Criticism doesn't derail you. You're anchored. That mental independence is a form of strength most people never reach. By the end of 2026, consistency will have done something quiet but irreversible. It will have separated you from the version of yourself that doubted, delayed, and hesitated. You won't feel lucky. You won't feel special. You'll feel solid, capable, ready. And that's what makes you dangerous. Not because you're trying to be, but because you build a foundation that doesn't crack under pressure. At the end of the day, this isn't about motivation, hype, or believing in yourself for a moment. It's about truth. The truth is that your life in 2026 will be the exact reflection of what you do daily, not what you plan, not what you promise, not what you hope. Every excuse you tolerate, every standard you lower, every time you choose comfort over discipline, you are voting for the person you will become. And those votes add up whether you're paying attention or not. Improving 1% every day doesn't sound impressive, but it is merciless. It exposes laziness. It kills delusion. It demands accountability when no one is watching. And if you commit to it, there is no going back. You don't get to pretend anymore. You don't get to blame circumstances. You either show up or you don't, and over time, that honesty builds a version of you that cannot be shaken. 2026 doesn't need a new you. It needs a consistent one. Someone who keeps promises to themselves. Someone who does the work even when it feels pointless. Someone who understands that discipline is self-respect in action. You don't wait to feel ready. You don't wait to feel confident. You move and readiness follows. You act and confidence is earned. If you take anything from this, take this. Stop trying to change everything at once. Just refuse to stay the same. Apply pressure daily. Win the morning. Control your mind. Use pain instead of running from it. Follow your system even when your emotions are loud. Do that long enough. And one day you'll look in the mirror and realize the person staring back at you doesn't make excuses anymore. And when that happens, life changes. Not because it got easier, but because you got stronger.